Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZozoStockWatch.com, and this is your stock watch list for March 14th, Wednesday. Let's go ahead and get right into it. We spoke on our last video back on Sunday about how this 280 spot was going to be tough for the bulls to get through. So far, back in February, that's kind of the spot where, the bulls lost control and we got this deep 10%, sell off here down to the 200 SMA. Price has memory, so folks are, that could break even at this spot here on the SPY are doing so and taking, their break even off the table and selling. And today we got a little bit of selling as we came up to that 279.91, and then today we made a high of 280.41, and then we pulled back from that. But not a lot of damage here. We're down to the 5 EMA here on the daily chart. If we go ahead and look at the 5-minute chart after hours, we closed the market down 276.72. We're currently trading 276.46. I'll go ahead and bring over the futures for you for tonight. And the futures are currently, the Dow futures are down 43, S&P futures down 6, NASDAQ futures down 19, and it's about 7:30 Eastern time, my time. So that's the futures right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the calendar of events for tomorrow. We'll go ahead and look at for the 14th. We have the MBA mortgage applications coming out. 8:30, we get another inflation gauge PPI. We had the 10:30. We have 10 o'clock. Excuse me. We have business inventories. At 10 o'clock also Atlanta Fed, and then we have the EIA petroleum report coming out tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Some companies that are reporting earnings tomorrow for Wednesday, the 14th. ACFS, CASM, CLSD reports earnings before the bell tomorrow. VRA, that's Vera Bradley. XNet will be reporting before the bell. After the market tomorrow. Triple D, 3D Systems will be reporting tomorrow after the bell. SMRT. And YRD is also reporting. Williams Sonoma also reporting. TLRD. So a few names, but nothing major until we get into Thursday. We have some bigger names reporting. So that's kind of what's going on for tomorrow with earnings. We'll get this out of the way. Um, So anyway, about the SPY, right? So yes, definitely a pullback here down to the 5 EMA. We haven't broken down too much. The Dow Jones has been lagging. So the Dow, maybe will crack that 25,000 number tomorrow. You see the Dow couldn't get above the 50 SMA for, the last few days and hold above it. So the Dow Jones a little bit lagging there. The Qs pulling back to the 5 EMA, still not a lot of damage in the Qs. IWM still above the 5 EMA on the IWM. IWC also above the 5 EMA there on those names. And then Amazon got a big upgrade today. Stock still holding up strong. Until the bears can, break these bigger names down like Nvidia, maybe they'll start to crack now. Let me bring over the news real fast. Donald Trump making comments about China. Trump is considering imposing tariffs on 60 billion of Chinese goods. Reuters and CNBC. So that came out a little while ago. So Trump considering imposing tariffs 60 billion. USO, the API data was a build for oil, 1.56 million barrels on crude oil. Those numbers come out at 4:30. They were released. So let's check and see if oil did anything. after hours. Not really. Oil dropped hard today, and after the API, not much of a move up here on the USO. Um, Now, Trump said that he's thinking about, imposing tariffs. So some of these semis were moving down in the after hours. Intel, let's check Nvidia. Yeah, they continued to move down a little bit in the after hours after Trump made those comments about the tariffs. Some companies that had earnings, this SILC got annihilated after hours. Ears also got annihilated, was halted, and then their study did not meet primary endpoints for ears, EARS, and that stock just dropped like a rock on ears. So looks like that one's pretty much done. EKSO had earnings after the bell. EKSO, that stock moved down in the after hours. There was Let me see what the news was on that here. SILC. Their top 10 cloud player cancels new cloud infrastructure architecture that used Silicom's 100 gigabyte switch. So that was SILC, and that stock just got clobbered after hours tonight as one of their big cloud players cancels, and so that stock, move this over. Silica, let's see, that stock was a $60 stock, and currently trading got down to 30, so almost a 50% haircut on SILC. So big drop there. CLNE had earnings after the bell. I don't think I saw too much happening there. In the beginning, they popped it, then they dropped it right back down. CRME also had earnings. CRME stock sold off, not a big volume stock. Let's see if there was anything else. GWPH announces receipt of notices of allowance by United States Patent. Let's see if there was anything GWPH. A little bit of a pop, not too much in that one. We'll scroll back down. I thought I saw that there was some insider purchases on VRX. Here we go. Form 4, VRX, Valiant Pharmaceuticals, Officer EVP and CFO purchased 15,000 shares at 1609. So Form 4 VRX. So MGN 10 million share repurchase for that stock. Ticked up a little bit on that, but not too much. And I think that's about it. Wasn't much news after the bell. A few little small things. Ears getting crushed. Let's see. PETQ announces expansion of its veterinary services. So PETQ, that stock moved up in the after hours. That was the other one that I wanted to bring to your attention. All right, so PETQ. All right, let's go ahead and get into the watch list for tomorrow. So with the market moving down a little bit now, I'll start to have things like TVIX on watch tomorrow. All right, TIVX and TZA. If we're going to go through a little bit of a pullback, I'll have some of these inverses on watch. TZA, TIVX is a volatility index, or UVXY. I'll have some of those on watch. SDOW is an inverse for the Dow. So when you purchase this and the Dow moves down, the Dow Jones 30, this will move up. SDOW, or there's the DXD. So I'll have these on watch tomorrow and the days going forward, depending on how this market wants to continue on for the week. Tillerson got fired from the Trump administration today. So a couple of heavy positions got emptied out by Trump in a very short period of time, and that might have put the market on edge a little bit. The market doesn't like uncertainty, so maybe that was the reason for the markets moving down. Larry Kudlow is supposedly the next heir apparent to the spot of economic advisor for Trump. So we'll see. But right now, the market didn't like that uncertainty. That was one of the reasons for the sell-off. All right, so some stocks I'm watching. Amgen actually has held up pretty well. You got to say, Amgen over maybe 190.50 or 191, holding up pretty well. Let's just take a quick look at the IBB. Holding above the 5 EMA on the IBB. The XBI coming up to resistance here at 98, pulled back, but Amgen holding okay, and GILD holding up okay. So maybe a possible swing trade in Amgen on that name. ATHX strictly for day trading purposes. 2.4 million shares, so keep ATHX on watch as it tries to get up over. Let me get this line out of the way. As it tries to get up over, that 190 spot on ATHX. All right, keep that on watch. A nice volume came into that one. ATOM, some good strength. Under a million shares, but expanding volume, as you can see here. Nice expanding volume on ATOM. It's a semiconductor name. So, maybe this one wants to make a move tomorrow. We'll see. A little bit light in the volume, though. BTX, a biotech name, had 1.5 million shares, got up to $2.90. So we'll have this on watch maybe for a trade tomorrow. CAL had earnings after the bell. Consumers, what is this? Colliers footwear. So that stock was moving up in after hours after their earnings. So CAL might be on watch tomorrow. CRNT, a nice bounce here off of the 300 SMA, the orange line you see here. The high today was 285, so maybe 288 or so. You might get a continuation move. Volume under a million shares. RSI is above the 50 spot on the RSI. CVRS, above the 200 here now. 2.3 million shares. We got as high as 142. So if we can clear that, 140, 142 spot, CVRS might make a move. CYTR starting to turn up the corner here. RSI is at 70 though on this move. Maybe we get like a red to green or something on that. Volume a little bit light, only 500,000 shares though. So that's something that you have to consider. FTech, big pop here today. Nice volume, 1.3, so maybe some kind of red to green or some type of consolidation play. If this one wants to continue up, pollution treatment controls, FTech. Galt daily chart. You had this nice move up. You have a two-stick pullback. We are holding above the blue line and the 10, which is the 50. The 13 is the pink dotted, and the 10 SMA. So maybe this one, if it gets over 526 for Galt, might make a move up on that one. Macy's held up well today. Macy, if it gets up over $30 or so, high today was a 30.29, so that'll be on watch. MYSZ, the high was that 184 area. 184 to be exact. So if it gets up over 184, 4.2 million shares came in, and it got back over the 50 SMA, the blue line you see there. So that'll be on watch. NETE, we got another trade out of this one today. So that's 3 days in a row we've made good day trading from NETE. So that's good stuff there on this stock. It does what it's supposed to do. I made a couple of videos if you want to watch them on NETE. PETQ, it was moving up in the after hours, so we'll have this one on watch, another earnings play. PTN. PTN kind of sneaky moving up here above all the moving averages. If this ever breaks that $1 spot, PTN could get a nice move up. Raz, nice pop, 16 million shares. It's an under 50-cent name, so but I just wanted to note if you like to play these, had big volume in it, so keep your eye on that. RFIL. Trying to get up over that 350 spot on the daily, but then they had earnings after the bell. Big pop in RFIL. Now, I don't know if I'll trade this one tomorrow, but maybe over the course of the next couple of days or maybe into next week, RFEL, might be one to watch. We'll see how it shapes up tomorrow for a trade, but they had a good earnings beat, and so they moved that stock up. SIFI, SIFI. Volume a little bit light on this one, 255,000 shares, but volume can always come in to a stock. So if this one gets up over $2.25, you might get a nice move in there, and you might get some volume coming in. SPEX, another one that we traded today, big volume. So we'll see if this one wants to set up for any type of a trade. We got in this one today at 207. It's on the video that I made this afternoon, and it went up to 242. So we got a very nice trade in SPX. I'll attach that video at the end to this video. SSC, it's a beaten down stock, but 4.2 million shares came into it. They tried to get it back over maybe that 20 SMA. So I don't know. Blockchain stocks are not really moving right now, but this one did get a pop and expanding volume, so we'll see. Trove, if you like these under 50-cent names, trying to get over the 100 SMA, there's that 50 cents right above. 8 million shares came into this one, maybe a little overstretched right now, up at that 70 on the RSI, but if this ever gets over 50 cents, maybe you get a nice continuation move. Like I said, I'll be watching TIVX, TZA, the inverses SDOW or the DXD, so I'll be watching those. Maybe this VRX was up in the after hours on those insider purchases. It closed at 1608, after hours trading at 1635. So I'll have VRX with those insider purchases. Maybe that one wants to move up. And then lastly, I'll be watching ZSAN, ZSAN again. Makes nice intraday moves. Here's a ZSAN, the last few days popped up. Now it's kind of pulled back a little bit. Here's the daily, but we are back above the 5 and right about the 200. The high today was 1843. So maybe if this thing gets back over 17 and change, we might get another move up in ZSAN. All right, so that's the watch list for tonight. If you like these videos, please hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel.